I'm really proud of this group. Again, counting on all three phases to execute when we needed them to at the end of the game, to be able to play the style of football that we want to play, being able to run the ball and play physically challenging a really good team. And, was just really proud of the way we came out of the locker room at the half with the mentality, let's finish. Let's finish by doing right longer. And that's what happened, and it took the whole time to get it done. But it was a great effort by the group.
All right, we'll start things off with Mike Kay, followed by Jeff Hawkins.
Hey, Dave. I was curious, what is your philosophy on the NFL trade deadline, and how does a 5-4 record potentially change or enhance your viewpoint on the trade deadline coming up tomorrow?
Philosophically speaking, it's just, it's value, need and value, all those things kind of taken into consideration as we look at it and talk about, who could potentially help us at this point. And I also understand, there's a lot more that goes into it, but it's got to be fair value, and things have to match up, the need with what you're willing to give up for that, understanding that as we put this team together and as we build it, all those picks in the draft are really important for us as we continue to build this team. But again, it's to me, I don't take in the record into consideration. I'm trying to win this game. We're trying to win. We're trying to beat the New Orleans Saints this week, and that's got to be the focus and mentality, for me as a coach. And then of course, Dan has taken all the things, in terms of just the future of the team, weighing that with right now and the challenges that we have in front of us.
During your guys' shared time in Seattle, you traded for Dwayne Brown, but you mostly traded for defensive players mid-season. I was curious, is there like an easier draw for defensive players because you can kind of put them in a little bit, maybe a little bit more than the playbook for offense?
That's a good point. I know that there are challenges in both sides with bringing in a defensive player, understanding that there is a lot of scheme. Certain positions are a little more forgiving, say running back, for example. Pretty much it's their directional calls in the run game. Protections can be different from team to team, but that's a pretty seamless plug and play there. I think on the defensive side, when you talk about pass rushers, while they're learning all the different calls, when you're in 4 down situations, or whether you're rushing 5 and you got a player rushing an edge, that's an easy transition as well. I think the conversations are more, the positions that require a lot of communication, right? Those could be harder unless they're coming from a similar scheme.
Jeff Hawkins.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, you spoke yesterday of the players capturing the mentality, winning a big game on the road. With the Saints and Falcons coming up next, do you believe it's time for the players to start stacking consistent outings and going on a run?
I was really proud of the way that we took on the challenge of going to Lambeau Field, playing the Packers, a really good team, a team that I respect in all regards, a head coach that I really respect in a hostile environment, and being able to get the win. It took the whole time to get that done. Capturing the things that we've learned. This is what our football can look like when we take care of the ball. We had 1 turnover, but we got 2 from them. Had some other opportunities, but capturing the style of play, I thought the style of play was amazing in terms of our run game on the offensive side. Defensively, guys flying to the ball, showing up aggressively with violence. Derek, again, just leading the charge for chasing the ball down, had some amazing stack monster plays coming out into the perimeter with screens, and we just want to try to recapture that on a weekly basis.
And can you quickly speak to the job that Icky did against Parsons?
Icky did an excellent job. What I want to talk about mostly is the whole group, really trust these guys to execute the game plan. We had a game plan to get the ball out quickly, and Bryce accomplished that for us. He was very decisive. The receivers were running fast, presenting themselves in the time that we needed to. You get one, maybe, you get one hitch, and then it's time to go and make a decision. Bryce got some first downs with his legs. Our offensive line did a great job in terms of just, giving us enough time to get that first read, second possible read, and then getting the ball out. But it also speaks to the run game, being able to have that balanced attack and and making yards. Rico had an excellent day picking up first downs, at times to give us a new set of downs, and really just running violently, because the more you run the ball, the more that you can take a little bit of football out of the defense to have them out there on the field longer. It all plays into it. And so it was I just thought it was a great balance of just the offensive attack last week.
Hey, thanks, Coach.
Joe Person, followed by David Newton.
Dave, following up on the Micah kind of strategy, was there anyone throughout the early in the week? Was there a game that you watched without giving away too much that kind of helped you formulate what looked to be what was a very successful strategy?
It was all the games, and you watch the impact that Micah has on games. Whether it's chasing the run game down, slippery at the point of attack, his pass rush moves in different spots. He shows up in every single game, so we had to take a collection of all of it and try to put a game plan together that allowed us to have success, that allowed us to get the ball gone in the past situations. This is a player that I respect so much, and running the ball, we could potentially in that situation, we could throw some different things at him, but it was really our guys just coming together, executing the plan that gave us an opportunity to be successful.
And then a quick follow-up. Is today the first Victory Monday you've had since you came here? And if so, what was the reason behind it?
Yeah, I just talked to the leadership group last week and wanted to make a statement about where we were heading going forward, and told them to be heads up and don't be surprised if we have some Victory Monday types of situations as we get here in the season. I think it's important with this stretch, as we've talked about, we're every Sunday, 1 o'clock for a lot of weeks in a row, and just wanting to try to give a little bit of mental space, the physical space, obviously for recovery, but then there's a mental, emotional, and a spiritual part to just reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your family after you get your work done here, and then we can regroup and take the next step. And at this point now, we're seeing what concepts are working for us, in all the different phases, and we can really target those things in a focused manner and be efficient with our time.
David.
Yep. Hey, Coach, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask you, back in training camp when you first started, you talked about this being a tight team that the other teams will want to play. How close was what you saw Sunday to that, what you envisioned?
We're just 1 week at a time, just looking for our group to play to the standard that we have for ourselves. That's what matters the most. To me, it's not about messaging. It's not about sending any message to anybody else but ourselves. Can we recapture the process and the excellence in the week it takes to have positive results on Sunday? And we got to stay locked into that mentality so we can return and get back to work.
And going back to your decision to go make Rico the featured back, was there one? I know you talked about he's had excellent games. He's been running violently and that kind of thing. But was there one thing in particular that stood out that made you say this is what makes our offense go?
I love when he runs the ball. He runs physically, and when he finishes his runs, makes the DBs have to show up and make decisions about whether they want to put a shoulder on him or not. Gets the group going, and the guys get really animated when he finishes runs, in a violent manner and want to get behind and push. So, and he's done a great job of that just consistently, with the opportunities he's had.
Yeah, and was your understanding that 2 pumps was allowed or could on the penalty that Rico took?
Oh yeah, we got to be smarter in that situation. We got to make sure that we understand the rules. I might have to, call up Michael Key, and make sure I get some clarification on that part of it. But from what I understand, it's any kind of movement that way, any weapons or all that stuff's going to get flagged. We got to be smarter about that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Cox, followed by Alex Zitlow.
Coach, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. You mentioned that physicality and that violence. How do you, during the course of the season, especially you're getting to November, December, during the course of the week, make sure that you guys stay violent and physical during the course of the season? And just, I guess, from a health standpoint, how do you maintain that with so many injuries that you've had up front?
Yeah, can't worry about that part of it. We have to make sure we're smart with how we work our guys, but as long as we have opportunities to pad up, you got to play physical football, at least once a week to make sure that we have the edge, the pad level that's required to play that way, the technique that's required to play that way. And at the same time, you look through your schedule during the week and try to find small margins, try to just put a little bit back in the tank so that we can play that way on Sunday and play for as long as we need to. And that's what I was proud of too with the group is, all the way through the game, through the finish, offense, defense, and special team. It was a group that's flying around, playing this game full speed, playing with great effort and violently the way it's supposed to be played.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Dave. I wanted to also ask about Rico. It appeared that he was limping in between plays there in the second half. Is there any update on his condition? And just generally speaking, what did it mean for you what did it mean for him to be able to persevere through the pain like that?
Yeah, we'll give all injury updates and all that on Wednesday, but he was able to finish all the way through the end of the game, was working through some things and, just really proud anytime the guys are able to go back in there. Damian Lewis, missed a little bit of time, came back in, finished, just a couple of different guys that, had to work something out, sort something out and said, look, this team, this game, this moment is too important to me. I'm going to be back out there for my guys and make that happen.
And I imagine that's the same thing for Chandler Zavala as well.
What's that?
You said you're not going to give an official injury update till Wednesday. I imagine it's the same thing for Chandler.
Yeah, same.
Okay, cool. And then final question for me. What is it about Bryce Young playing really well in the fourth quarter and finding his best football, particularly on these final drives?
He's comfortable in those moments. He believes he belongs in those moments. I believe he does too. And as we collectively, as a team, put ourselves into high-stakes situations and high-stakes moments like that, that's where we count on all the guys to execute, and certainly Bryce is at the forefront of that.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go with Cass, followed by Vashti.
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Hey, Cass.
One thing real quick first, wanted some clarification. You mentioned like Tracy was saying, take the ball so that the wind can be in our back at the fourth quarter. Like, if you win the toss and get to take it, do you then get to choose where you're like defending as well? Like, what's the process there? I guess I'm a little confused.
On whether to receive or to kick and defer?
No. Like if you win the toss and you're electing to receive, are you then choosing? Because you mentioned you wanted to do it with the wind in your back in the fourth. Like, are you then choosing which end zone to defend as well?
Yeah. To give us a chance, if you defer, then you're giving the opponent the ability to kind of decide what they want to do with the ball. And so, a little different than what we normally do. We'd normally kick, defer. Or give them a chance to have the ball in the first half. And then, typically we like the thought of coming out of the half to have a chance. And if we do, we know we're a good 2-minute team. So if we have a chance to get a score before the half and then you're receiving in the second half, sometimes you can double down right there and it does help your chances to win, but a little different strategy just based on the weather.
And then just one other thing real quick. We're seeing more and more with it having guys like T-Mac, Jimmy, Coker, XL on the field. Have you had a wide receiver group before that was this young? And what are some of the pros of having guys at this part of their development?
Yeah, I love the energy. I love the way that the guys, take into, basically just improving their game on a weekly basis. And I love seeing that growth. The guys are hungry. It's interesting, how throughout the course of this season, different guys have shown up, and T-Mac has kind of been consistently producing, his own way. But Xavier will have a game, and I'm expecting a big game from Jalen Coker at some point coming up. As he continues to show what he's doing out there, he looked great again, blocking and looked fast out there. But at the same time, these guys understand that there's a lot of learning to do, and it's not just about knowing what the plays are. It's not just about knowing how to run the route, but it's also about the adjustments that happen when they do something you're not expecting, and just being really decisive in those moments. And that's where I see our learning curve. The next step for us as a passing group is just being able to, attack, even though it may be a mask type of coverage where they thought it was one thing, they throw something else at you. And those types of reactions come with time. It's time on task, and playing fast on your feet. And I believe that's where we're headed.
Hi, Dave. I wanted to ask you about that 19-yard run that put you guys in field goal position. Rico said after the game that Bryce kind of sold that he was maybe trying to tell Rico to the protection, but they really always knew it was a run. Can you just take us through that play and then also Bryce kind of throwing off defenders in that way?
Not really. What I will say is I was glad that he pressed the run the right way. He set it up and then kind of ripped it, finished, with good ball security right there. And just loved the way that he hit it with speed, And other than that, third down, try to give a pass formation and see if we could have some success on the run, and try to keep teams off balance.
Did Rico give us a little bit too much information on that one?
Probably.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Last question, Sheena Quick.
Hi, Coach. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. That was actually kind of my question too. Micah Parsons said after the game that they were expecting a pass on that play. Can you just talk about the misdirection that you guys were able to hit the Packers defense with, not just on that play, but just throughout the game?
I thought it was important for us to stay balanced, and I got to give a lot of credit to Brad. Brad Idzik did a great job just piecing the plan together to give us a little bit of balance to where it wasn't just always under center run game. There was some gun, some pistol, some under center, some different balances, and just trying to protect the plays, whether it's run game or pass game, trying to protect those formations that we really like, and trying to protect the best runs that we have to just, make sure that while teams know you're going to do it, not necessarily when you're going to call those plays. And so I got to give them a lot of props, and also Harold Goodwin, just the job that they did building that plan and trying to, create a little bit of indecision. We really respected this defense a lot, not just from the edge play out of Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, but it was also Adrian Cooper on the inside and Quay Walker, who have an amazing ability. They're big and fast, and when they know a run's coming, it's hard to stop them. You guys saw that at the end, where we ended up with basically 2 0-yard runs because it got pretty predictable. They knew where it was going, and they made it really challenging to even make a yard in that situation. And so, it called for us to have that little bit of balance and misdirection to try to slow those guys down because of the group and how much we respected them.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, Coach, that seems to be all the questions that we have today. Thanks for taking the time.
Okay, thank you.